Right now, your person exists in a space of profound silence. But this is not the peaceful quiet of contentment or the gentle stillness of meditation. No, this silence is heavy, oppressive even, carrying within it the crushing weight of everything that remains unspoken, everything left unresolved, and everything undone between the two of you. It hangs over them like a storm cloud that refuses to break, holding back the rain that might bring relief. Beneath the surface of this silence, they are drowning in stress. Their mind has become a prison of endless loops, constantly circling back to you, to the memory of you, to the ghost of what you shared together. The absence of your physical presence has transformed into something far more devastating than mere loneliness. It has become overwhelming, suffocating, pressing down on their chest with each breath they take. They are missing you in ways that transcend simple words, in ways that language struggles to capture and fails to fully express. This longing has embedded itself into their very bones, into the marrow of their being, becoming a constant ache that never truly subsides. What makes this pain exponentially more difficult to bear is the crystal-clear realization that has finally broken through their defenses. They can see now, with painful clarity, that you never deserved the treatment they gave you. You never deserved the coldness, the dismissiveness, the carelessness with which they handled your tender heart. They understand now what they were too blind or too foolish to see before, that you were genuine in every moment, kind in every gesture, and endlessly giving with your love. You offered them something rare and precious, a connection that most people search their entire lives for and never find. And they failed to value it. That truth gnaws at them relentlessly, eating away at their peace day after day, night after sleepless night. The urge to reach out to you rises within them almost constantly. It comes in waves throughout their day. They think about texting you, about calling you, about hearing the sound of your voice just one more time. These impulses surge through them with startling frequency, pulling at them like an invisible tide. Yet each time they feel that desperate desire to reconnect, it is immediately followed by a crashing wave of paralyzing fear. The possibility that you might ignore them, that you might not respond, or worse, that you might respond with indifference, fills them with such profound anxiety that it literally freezes them in place. That single thought, that vision of rejection, keeps them trapped in a torturous cycle, suspended between the desperate yearning to have you back in their life and the overwhelming dread of being turned away. When your person first chose to walk away, they never imagined that this silence would extend for so long. In their mind, they pictured a brief pause, a little breathing room where they could step back and then return when the moment felt right. They believed, perhaps naively, that things could simply resume as they were before. But time has proven to be a far harsher teacher than they anticipated. Instead of bringing you closer, time has only widened the chasm between you. The days without you accumulated into weeks, the weeks stretched into months, and the emotional weight of the separation has crushed them in ways they never could have predicted or prepared for. Here is the truth they can no longer deny: they never truly got over you. Not for a single day. Even now, in quiet moments when they are alone with their thoughts, they replay memories in their mind like cherished films they cannot stop watching. They see the way you looked at them with such sincere affection. They remember the way you gave your heart so openly, without reservation or calculation. They recall the kind of love you offered, a love that was both extraordinarily rare and beautifully selfless, expecting nothing in return but to be valued and honored. In those quiet moments when no one else is around to serve as a distraction from their inner turmoil, they find themselves completely drowning in waves of emotion. They think about your laughter and how it used to light up even the darkest days. They remember your warmth and how safe it made them feel, like finding shelter in the middle of a storm. They cannot forget your honesty, your authenticity, and the way your care for them was so genuine, so pure, so untainted by ulterior motives. They remember with aching clarity how deeply you love them despite all their flaws, their mistakes, and their imperfections. The realization has finally settled into their consciousness that no one, absolutely no one, has ever shown them the kind of authentic love that you did. And the more they reflect on this truth, the heavier their regret becomes, growing like a weight they must carry everywhere they go. Because they understand now that they let go of something completely irreplaceable, something they may never find again in this lifetime. As time continues to pass, they have also come to recognize that you have grown and matured in remarkable ways. You have become even stronger than before, wiser in your understanding of life and love, and more radiant in your energy. This growth of yours pulls them toward you even more powerfully because now they can feel the painful contrast between who you are becoming and who they were when they chose to disrespect and dishonor the sacred connection you shared. The distance between the elevated person you have become and the flawed person they were during your relationship creates an almost unbearable tension within them. Deep in their soul, they know they are paying the ultimate price for their mistakes. Losing you is not simply a passing consequence that would fade with time. It has become the defining heartbreak of their entire life, the loss that colors everything else they experience. They are finally being forced by the universe itself to face themselves honestly, to look in the mirror without flinching, and to answer for what they did to you. The universe, life, fate, karma, whatever name one chooses to give it, has an inevitable way of making people confront the consequences of their choices. For them, this confrontation has been nothing short of brutal. Every ounce of joy they attempt to experience feels somehow dim now, shadowed by the persistent memory of you and what they lost. Every step they try to take forward feels fundamentally incomplete because they cannot share it with you, because you are not there beside them to witness it or celebrate it with them. This is the steep cost of taking your love for granted, and it is a cost they must now carry with them every single day of their life, like a stone tied to their heart. Yet even in the midst of all this suffering and regret, something new is beginning to grow within them. There is a determination taking root, a resolve that grows stronger with each passing day. They are becoming willing to slow down, to truly reflect on their actions, to change in fundamental ways, and to do absolutely whatever it takes to find their way back to you. They are no longer interested in temporary distractions or superficial fixes to fill the void. The pain of this separation has become so unbearable that the thought of living the rest of their life without you feels like an endless punishment, a sentence they cannot bear to serve. They know now, with absolute certainty, where they went wrong. They undervalued you in every possible way. They failed to recognize your worth, your incredible capacity for love, your sincerity, and your authenticity. Instead, they overvalued themselves, placing their own pride, their inflated ego, and their fleeting desires above what truly mattered. That misplaced priority was their biggest and most devastating mistake. It is one they cannot undo, one they cannot erase from history, but it is one they desperately long to make amends for, to somehow atone for if you would ever give them the chance. This clarity they now possess did not come to them easily or gently. It came through profound loss, through countless sleepless nights spent staring at the ceiling, through moments of crushing loneliness that felt like they might break them entirely. The lessons they have learned have been painful beyond measure, earned through genuine suffering and honest self-examination. But it is real clarity nonetheless, not the false understanding that comes from empty words or surface-level regret. In their heart, despite everything, there still exists hope. It is fragile, trembling like a candle flame in the wind, but it remains alive, refusing to be extinguished. They hope for a chance to prove themselves to you, to demonstrate through actions and not merely words that they can treasure you the way they should have from the very beginning. They hope for your forgiveness, though they are wise enough now to know that forgiveness cannot be demanded or expected and may never come. Still, they hold on desperately to the possibility that one day, perhaps when enough time has passed and enough healing has occurred, you might consider letting them back into your life. Every single moment they spend without you serves as a stark reminder of what they lost. Every sunrise feels somehow incomplete, less beautiful, because you are not there to share it with them and witness its glory by their side. Every night carries within it a profound silence that echoes with your absence, a quiet that speaks louder than any words could. They never imagined, not even in their darkest moments of doubt, that losing you would cut so deeply into their soul or that this wound would last so long without healing. But now they understand with complete certainty that some mistakes change absolutely everything, altering the trajectory of a life forever. Your person may be silent on the outside, yes, appearing calm or composed to the rest of the world. But inside that silence rages an absolute storm of emotions. Regret crashes against longing, sorrow mingles with hope, and through it all runs an unshakable desire to return to you, to find their way back into your presence. They are finally ready to admit the truth they have been running from, that they were completely wrong, that they failed you in fundamental ways, and that they would give absolutely anything, sacrifice whatever is required, for one more genuine chance with you. Whether or not that chance ever comes, whether forgiveness is possible or the bridge has been burned beyond repair, they will have to live with certain immutable truths. They will have to accept that you were genuine when so many others would have been false. They will have to remember that you were rare, a once-in-a-lifetime soul, when the world is full of common connections. And they will have to carry the knowledge that you were the love they should have held onto with both hands, the love they should have protected and cherished above all else. Are you still angry with me? I can feel the weight of it pressing against my heart, even when you try to hide your true feelings behind a carefully constructed smile or when you pretend that everything between us is perfectly fine. Your silence speaks volumes to me. Your distance tells me stories your mouth refuses to share. Even the tone of your voice, when you do speak, whispers truths to me that your actual words attempt to conceal. Honestly, the memory of how things ended the last time we spoke continues to haunt me. That conversation replays endlessly in my mind like an unfinished song that demands resolution, a melody that stops before reaching its conclusion. And each time it cycles through my thoughts, it pierces me with fresh regret, the wound never quite healing before being reopened. The pain is sharper than I ever imagined emotional pain could be, more persistent than any physical injury I have ever endured. Whenever the thought of permanently losing you crosses my mind, whenever I envision a future where you have walked completely out of my life, carrying away pieces of my heart that can never be recovered or replaced, it becomes something I simply cannot bear. The weight of that potential reality is too much for me to carry. This very morning, I woke with a single, focused prayer in my heart. My prayer was not directed toward wealth, material success, professional recognition, or public fame. None of those things mattered in that moment of connection with the divine. My prayer was entirely and exclusively for us, for this precious bond we share. I prayed with everything in me that we may grow together rather than apart, that our love will continue to deepen and mature with the passage of time rather than withering from neglect. I prayed that we will never allow anger, pride, or stubbornness to create an impenetrable wall between our hearts. I asked God directly to remind us both, in moments when we forget, that true love is absolutely worth fighting for. I asked for the reminder that real love is patient even when we want immediate resolution, that it is kind even when we feel justified in being harsh, and that it is strong enough to endure even the darkest and most difficult storms that life throws at us. I prayed earnestly that love and time, working together in divine cooperation, will heal all the wounds we have inflicted upon each other. I prayed that forgiveness will flow freely between us like a river, washing away resentment and bitterness. And I prayed that our hearts will never stop choosing each other, that no matter how many times we stumble or fall, we will always choose to reach for each other again. I know this truth without the slightest shadow of doubt: you are my soulmate. This knowledge lives in my bones, in the deepest part of my being where truth cannot be questioned or denied. No matter how difficult, painful, or seemingly impossible things may appear in this current moment, I remain utterly confident that our relationship has the strength and the divine support necessary to overcome this dark phase we are navigating. You and I were not brought together by random chance or simple accident. Our story, however imperfect and flawed it may appear on the surface, is being guided by something far greater than ourselves, something beyond our limited human understanding. There is a divine hand at work in our connection. That is precisely why I refuse with every fiber of my being to give up on us. I refuse to surrender to despair or to let anger, mistakes, or human imperfection define or destroy what we have built together. I carry deep regret for making you sad, for causing you pain that you never deserved. If I possessed the power to go back in time and undo the specific words I spoke in anger or the thoughtless actions that wounded your tender heart, I would do so without a moment's hesitation. I would sacrifice anything for that chance to rewrite those painful moments. At the time those hurtful things occurred, I did not fully realize or understand that in causing you pain, I was simultaneously inflicting wounds upon myself. It was as though I was cutting the very branch upon which I was sitting, weakening the foundation that supports and sustains me. I was sabotaging my own source of strength, happiness, and peace. You are so much more to me than simply someone I love, someone I have romantic feelings for. You represent the inspiration I desperately need in this life to become who I am meant to be. You give me purpose when I feel lost, motivation when I feel like giving up, and hope when darkness threatens to overwhelm me. You make me want to stretch beyond my current limitations and become the absolute best version of myself that I am capable of becoming. I need you to know, to truly understand, that I no longer have any desire whatsoever to be careless or reckless with love. The old version of me that treated hearts carelessly is dead and gone. I do not want to be a player anymore, someone who treats relationships as though they are temporary entertainment, easily disposable when they become challenging or inconvenient. What we share together is far too beautiful and sacred for me to ever take it lightly again. I have learned my lesson through painful experience. If I have offended you in any way, whether through thoughtless words spoken in moments of frustration, through impatience when you needed my understanding, or through neglect when you deserved my full attention and care, I am asking you humbly to please accept me as I am, flaws and all, and grant me your forgiveness. I am willing and ready to change, to transform myself in fundamental ways. But I want you to understand that this willingness does not come because you are demanding it as an ultimatum or forcing it upon me. I want to change because you are absolutely worth every bit of effort it requires. You are worth every sacrifice I must make, every moment of discomfort I must endure as I grow, and every ounce of energy it takes to make our love not just survive but truly thrive and flourish. When I first encountered you, when our paths first crossed in this vast world, I had absolutely no idea that you would become the queen of my heart, the one who would rule over my affections completely. I could not have predicted that you would be the person destined to teach me the profound and transformative true meaning of love. For such a long time before you, I searched aimlessly through life, trying desperately to fill the persistent emptiness in my heart with temporary things and fleeting connections that could never truly satisfy the hunger in my soul. But then you came into my life like sunrise breaking through endless night, and suddenly, miraculously, everything made sense. All the pieces that seemed scattered and random suddenly formed a beautiful picture. You showed me through your actions and your presence what it genuinely means to be loved unconditionally, without prerequisites or conditions that must be met. You taught me that love is not merely a word we throw around casually but rather an action we take, a commitment we honor, and a deliberate choice we make day after day, especially on the days when it feels difficult or inconvenient. I love you, my angel, my blessing, my miracle. I love the way you care so deeply about everything and everyone that matters to you. I love the way your inner strength shines brilliantly even in moments of vulnerability when you feel weak or broken. I love the way your heart naturally radiates kindness toward others, even toward those who may not deserve it. With you in my life, I feel complete in a way I never thought possible, because everything I ever hoped to find in a woman, every quality I ever dreamed of, is wrapped up beautifully in you. Your love carries tremendous power. It is healing in its nature, mending the broken places within me. It is transformative, changing me from who I was into who I am becoming. You embody a fascinating balance. You are gentle yet incredibly strong, soft yet unbreakable, and that unique combination makes you absolutely extraordinary. When I look at you, I see not just a romantic partner but also a divine blessing that I must cherish, honor, and protect for the rest of my life. Every single day, I find myself overflowing with gratitude that the divine finally answered the prayer I had been whispering for years.